this is Nathan Oxenfeld with Integral Eyesight Improvement. I'm coming to you today from Sunset Beach, North Carolina. And today I want to talk to you about the role of glasses in your vision improvement process. And specifically, what I call training glasses, which are weaker prescription or undercorrected from your full prescription glasses. And this is one example of an area where I, as a certified Bates method teacher, actually stray from the Bates method. Because anyone who has read Dr. Bates's book or magazines or research articles is probably aware that he says that in order to improve your vision naturally, you must discard your glasses and not put them back on. So essentially, Dr. Bates was a big fan of quitting cold turkey. And that may have been doable or more realistic when Dr. Bates was alive in the 20th century. But that's not always very realistic in this day and age in the 21st century. Because maybe you have to go to school and read what's on the board in front of the class. Or maybe you have to go to work and you have to be able to read what's on the computer or be in a meeting and see everybody's faces. Or maybe you have to drive your car and be able to read the road signs and be a safe driver. So luckily, there is a way to work around this conundrum of knowing that wearing full-strength glasses can actually be bad for your eyes or can make your vision worse and lead you to need stronger prescriptions in the future. And also knowing that spending time without glasses can actually be good for your eyes if you're doing it correctly. But there's also a middle path, and that is the path of the reduced lenses, or the training glasses, as I call them. So before I give you some specific suggestions of how to get a pair of training glasses so you can start wearing them and experimenting with them, I want to share a brief little story of one of my vision students and her experience with weaker glasses. Whenever I start working with a new vision student, I always start with an in-depth vision intake. And in that process, she shared a little bit about her experience with these weaker glasses before she started taking lessons with me. She started wearing glasses at the strength of minus 5.5 for myopia. And at the time, one of her friends was an ophthalmologist. So just in conversation passing one time, she asked if there was a way that she could get some computer glasses because her 5.5s felt a little too strong for when she was working on the computer. Which makes sense if you think about it, because the full strength glasses are actually designed to help you see much farther than a computer screen. And so when you look at a computer screen with glasses that are correcting your vision for way out there, it can be kind of uncomfortable, and it can actually lead to more visual strain in your visual system. And that's a big reason why a lot of people continue to get stronger and stronger glasses, is because they're actually focusing near while they're wearing distance glasses. So just as a little side note of this story, even if you just take your glasses off in order to read or to look up close or to work on the computer and only wear your glasses for distance vision, like driving or looking far away, then that in and of itself can actually make a big difference and eliminate a lot of stress and strain from your visual system. So her friend agreed to prescribe her glasses corrected to 20/40 instead of 20/20. So he gave her a pair of computer glasses. And she was able to still see the computer just fine, and the glasses felt more comfortable for her instead of her full strength ones. Now, she didn't tell her friend, but she actually started wearing her computer glasses for other activities that involved farther distances. And within a few months, her computer glasses actually started feeling too strong as well. So she went back to her friend and she said, "Hey, can you prescribe me another pair of computer glasses, even weaker this time?" And he did. And once again, she started wearing the computer glasses for other activities. So this trend continued for a period of 5 years of gradually stepping her strength down, getting these weaker computer glasses. And by the time she came to see me for some vision lessons, her prescription was all the way down to minus 2.5. So she had gone a full 3 diopters weaker without even doing any specific vision training practices. She was just wearing her weaker prescription glasses. Now, once she started taking vision lessons with me and she started being even more proactive about doing specific vision techniques and habits and practices, her improvements sped up tremendously, and she was able to go from the minus 2.5 all the way down to minus 0.75 in just a few months. So although you may get some benefit and some improvement from just wearing weaker glasses, it's going to be a little slower. And if you do the Bates method practices in conjunction with the reduced lens method, that is the way to get the fastest results. Because remember, it took her 5 years to go from minus 5.5 to minus 2.5, and then less than a year to go from minus 2.5 to minus 0.75. And she really only used those for a couple activities like driving at night or whenever she needed that little bit of extra crisp clarity. But for the most part, she was pretty independent from her glasses. So in hearing that story, you might think, well, that's great. I don't have a friend who's an ophthalmologist. I don't have somebody who's going to hook me up with these new glasses every couple months. But maybe you do have an eye doctor or an optometrist that you like or that you work with or that you know is open-minded or willing to undercorrect you, because not all eye doctors are willing to let you walk out of their office with a prescription that's weaker than what your eyes test at in the exam. That's not always the case though, because if you word it correctly, if you politely ask for a pair of computer glasses or a pair of glasses corrected to 20/30 or 20/40 instead of 20/20 or 20/10, then who knows, your eye doctor might be willing to write you a prescription for that. But what I did, and what most of my vision students do, is actually bypass that whole process and actually just go ahead and order their own prescription glasses online. And there's a particular website called Zenni Optical, or Zenni.com, Zenni.com. And I'll put a link to that website in the description of the video so you can check it out. And I'm pretty sure that there's other websites as well, but Zenni is the one that I've used and I usually recommend to most of my students. Not only can you buy prescription glasses online for considerably less money than doing it through an eye doctor or a glasses shop, but websites like Zenni actually allow you to buy prescription glasses without an eye doctor's prescription. So you can actually type in whatever numbers you want on their website and you can order that strength glasses. And their glasses start at like $7 or $8. So by the time you go through and add in the prescription and the anti-glare coating and whatever other add-ons you want, you're still only looking at like $20 or $30 or $40 for a pair of glasses compared to $100, $200, $300, $400 for one pair that you might be used to paying. So it makes this process of weaning off of prescription glasses a lot more realistic and a lot more affordable, because you don't have to keep paying for eye exams, you don't have to keep paying full price for these designer frames. You can go online and order your training glasses on your own. Now, although you don't need an eye doctor's prescription and signature to prove that you got that prescription in order to buy the glasses, but you do have to know what your prescription is in order to know what to order online. So you might want to go in and get an eye exam if you haven't in the past year or two to get an updated baseline reading of what your prescription is so that you know what to drop down to. Or maybe you have a record of the most recent prescription that you got last time you went in for an eye exam. And then you have those numbers to drop down from. Or if you don't know what your prescription is and you don't want to go in for an eye exam, you may be able to go into a glasses shop or like Walmart or Target or something and hand them your glasses and ask if they can tell what strength they are. If they can give you a printout of the strength of the glasses just based off of looking at the lenses or using the instruments or machines that they have there. And there's usually 3 main columns of numbers on your prescription that you need to order them online. And they're in 2 rows, one for the right eye and one for the left eye. So those 3 numbers are your sphere, your cylinder, and your axis. The sphere refers to the strength of your nearsightedness or farsightedness. If you're nearsighted, it's going to be a minus number, -1, -2, -3, going, etc. If you're farsighted, it's going to be a plus number. So +1, +2, +3, etc. The cylinder and the axis refer to astigmatism. The cylinder is the strength of your astigmatism. It's usually also a minus number, like a -1, -2. The axis is the angle of your astigmatism. So it's a number from 0 to 180, referring to the degrees of the angle. So the OD is your right eye. So your right eye is going to have those three numbers, or just the first number if you don't have astigmatism. And the OS refers to your left eye. So that the OS is going to have all three of those numbers, or just the first one. So I want to give you an example of what to drop down to as your first pair of training glasses. So let's say your prescription is -4 in both left and right eyes. So you've got -4, so that means that you're nearsighted with a strength of -4 diopters. And let's say you have a slight astigmatism as well. So maybe you have a -0.5 cylinder, which is the strength of the astigmatism, at an angle of 90 degrees. So if that's your prescription, what would your first pair of training glasses look like? Well, your very first pair, you don't want to change it very much. You want it to just be a very slight decrease, because you don't want it to be too much of a shock to your visual system. If your training glasses are too weak, they're not going to help you out very much. So it's kind of like Goldilocks. You don't want them to be too strong, you don't want them to be too weak. You want to find that sweet spot where it's just right. You're still able to function totally well, but maybe the glasses don't correct your vision 100%. Maybe there's a little bit of room for improvement. So they're not totally taking the job away from your eyes. Your first step is going to be a little baby step. So you're only going to decrease the sphere column by 1/4 or 1/2 a diopter. So that would be from -4 to either -3.75 or -3.5. So it's just a little bit weaker, but they're strong enough to still help you function and make your way through your day without any strain or effort involved in your eyes. Your eyes are still able to stay relaxed. And for the astigmatism, since it's so weak, just a 1/2 a diopter, what I usually suggest to people with low astigmatism is actually to remove the astigmatism correction altogether. So the prescription would look like, instead of -4, -0.5, 90, it would actually be -3.75, 00, where these would just be empty. Now that's if you have the same prescription in both eyes, but not everybody has that. So if you have one eye that's dominant or one eye that's weaker, and you've got different numbers, then you're just going to want to subtract a 1/2 or a 1/4 diopter from each number. So if you're at a -6 and a -3, you would go down -5.75, -2.75. Now, once you get that pair and you start wearing them and getting used to them, and your eyes and your brain start to adjust to them, then you can think about taking some bigger leaps. So you could take a 1/2 a diopter or 3/4 of a diopter or a full 1 diopter off of your prescription for your second pair of training glasses. So you went from -4 to -3.75, then your next one you could go down to -3.0. And then from there, you could go down either to -2.5 or -2 or maybe even -1.5. But you want to think about them like training wheels. You don't want to just go from the -4 to no glasses altogether. That's a big gap. That's a big leap to ask your eyes and your brain to make. So what you're doing with these training glasses is you're providing stepping stones. It's making it easier for your eyes and your brain to adjust to the weaker prescription gradually over time. And it's going to be a little less disruptive to your life because you're still going to be able to go through your daily routine. You might even still be able to drive with the training glasses. You just want to be safe and smart and make sure that you're not putting yourself in danger or other people in danger. But all these examples I've given so far have been for nearsightedness. And maybe you're farsighted, maybe you have reading glasses and you're wondering how to wean off of those. Well, it works a very similar way. And it's actually a little bit easier if you're farsighted because you can just buy reading glasses at any drugstore or pharmacy. So let's say you're starting at +3 in your reading classes. You could go to your drugstore and go try and find a pair that's +2.75. So relaxation should always be your #1 priority, whether you have your glasses on or off. And if you have your glasses off and you're straining, you need to put your glasses on. But if you have your glasses on and you're straining, then you might want to try taking them off and seeing if that helps you relax your eyes a little bit. So if you want to improve your vision naturally, it's probably not going to be enough to just take your glasses off. And it might not even be enough to just wear weaker prescription glasses. You need to combine that with some sort of proactive vision training, like the Bates method. And if you need some specific guidance or help in ordering your first pair of training glasses, then that's what I help my vision students with. So I'd encourage you to schedule an initial vision consultation with me online so that I can get to know you and get to know your vision and find out what your prescription is, so that I can give you some specific recommendations of what exactly to drop down to. And improving your vision isn't always just about only doing the Bates method, because if you don't use these weaker glasses, let's say you spend all this time and energy doing the Bates method and you're doing these good vision habits and vision practices, but then you pop on your full strength prescription glasses, it's almost like you're slowing down your process or halting the process altogether, or kind of backtracking. So that's why it's going to be a good idea for you to go ahead and get some of these weaker prescription glasses to grow into. As your natural vision improves through practicing the Bates method, you can keep dropping the prescription down as your vision is improving. And that is the way to eventually give up your glasses for good, because you keep weaning your prescription numbers down and down and down until eventually you reach a point where you don't need any prescription anymore. And that's what happened for me. I started at almost -4, and I dropped down to -3.5 to -2, and then I didn't need any glasses. So hopefully this video has shown you another avenue for improving your vision naturally, and hopefully it's cleared up maybe a little bit of misunderstandings about, you might think, well, I can't do the Bates method because according to the Bates method, I'm not allowed to wear any glasses because Dr. Bates said you have to throw away your glasses. But that's not really the case, because you can use the Bates method with the reduced lens method, and when you combine those two, that is when you get the best results. So feel free to reach out with any questions you have about this topic, and keep in mind that I can really guide you best in either a one-on-one situation in a consultation, or there's a whole module in my online course called the Holistic Vision Program that guides you through this process of how to order these weaker training glasses online and begin reversing your vision problem and making the prescription weaker instead of exacerbating your vision problem and needing stronger and stronger prescriptions over time. So at the very end here, I just want to address some of the most popular questions I see underneath a lot of my videos. All of the Bates method practices are supposed to be done without any glasses on. You can put glasses on after you finish the practices. Ideally, you can put on these training glasses, but you can still use your full strength glasses when you need them. And remember that vision is an effortless, passive process. It's not something that takes any work or effort or tension or trying or strain. Clear, natural, perfect vision only happens when your eye muscles are relaxed and when your mind is relaxed. So don't think that you have to do anything physically or actively to make your eyes focus. You cannot force focus. You cannot force vision. You can only allow it. You can only encourage it and coax it by doing proper vision habits and techniques through relaxation. Don't think that in order to improve your vision, you have to try or you have to actively focus. The way that I learned how to see clearly was by learning how to focus through relaxation, by letting all the muscles stay relaxed. And over time, my visual system reactivated and turned back on into autofocus mode.
Because if you have a friend or a family member who doesn't wear glasses or doesn't wear contacts and they've got perfect vision, if you ask them, hey, how are you focusing right now? How is it possible that you are seeing clearly? What are you doing? What are you physically doing to focus? Their answer is going to be nothing. They're not doing anything. It's just happening automatically. So that's exactly what Dr. Bates said, was that if you want to achieve perfect vision, you should hang out with people who have perfect vision and watch how they use their eyes and emulate the way that they look at the world. So it's not a matter of forcing your vision to turn on or forcing your eyes to focus. Your job is actually to let go and step out of the way and allow the accommodation to happen by itself. And it doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen immediately. That's why it can take several weeks or months or even years for your visual system to turn back on and fully reactivate. So what you need is patience and time and dedication and repetition and relaxation. You can't rush it and you can't force it. So for more information about me or about what I do, you can head over to my website at integraleyesight.com. I've got lots of other videos. I've got lots of episodes of the Naked Eye podcast that you can listen to. I've got lots of blog posts and upcoming events that you can check out. You can also find information on there about my online course, the Holistic Vision Program, and information about my individual one-on-one vision training, either in person or online. So I want to thank you for coming to the beach with me today, and hopefully you've learned a lot from this video about another avenue that you can explore to encourage your vision to rehabilitate and to improve gradually over time by using these undercorrected, weaker prescription training glasses. So go ahead and order your first pair of training glasses online, or head over to the drugstore and get your first pair of weaker reading glasses and start to experiment with them when you feel comfortable and when you feel relaxed, when there's no stress involved. And I wouldn't be surprised if you'd be ready to drop down to the next weaker one within just a couple of weeks or months. So thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next time.